pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everyone to a regular session of Goldendale City Council for October 3rd. We have one council member that is absent tonight. He's traveling, and that's Filberto Ontiveros. Do we have a motion to excuse him?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to excuse Filberto from attending this particular council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next item on the is the agenda, and we need a motion to approve the agenda or to amend it if there's something that needs to be brought up.
So moved, Mayor. Second the agenda.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda for the Goldendale City Council meeting of October 3rd. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. The next item is the consent agenda. This has all the figures and payroll and things. We need a motion or a statement on that, but particularly a motion to approve.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda, Mayor.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda for this council session. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. There's Roger. Sorry, we've started, but the real stuff is coming now. We have a presentation tonight on signage, the signage request from Fort Vancouver Library, and on hand is the librarian from Goldendale.
Presentation?
Pardon?
Just to speak.
Do I need a?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I like say my
Let's
name
just
and
explain.
Yep.
We've got
Just
your
your name and your title.
everything? Yeah. Tara McLeod, branch manager at the Goldendale Community Library. Our contract with the city is that if we add any extra signage, we need written permission from the city to add. I talked to Pat, and because of the signage that we would put up would change the usage. Is that correct?
It just terms of the agreement that you have to
Yeah.
get approval from the city council.
Right. So I talked to Jay, because sometimes you see that there is some concerning behavior at the library after hours. We've heard from community members and neighbors who let us know after the fact or don't call the police during that. Some of them are actually scared of retaliation from people that have been doing these concerning behaviors at the library. So Jay had suggested that signage for not occupying the library grounds at night may help them do their job a little better and may help to keep concerning behavior off of library premises. So can I have permission?
council been asked.
Would that include lighting to be able to read the signage at night?
Well, there is lighting on the suggested areas that we would probably put the signage. I'm also working with our facilities department to put in more lighting, just because it's been requested.
After speaking with her, some of the things we were talking about is the library at nighttime, because of the Wi-Fi, gets a lot of attention there. And then we had what looked to be drug deals on video going and stuff like that. In fact, it was one of the people involved in those videos that we later did a controlled purchase on a hot pop on, and was put in jail. Wasn't at the library, but it has that kind of a draw. So talking with staffing from the library and everything is like, you know, let's say nobody on the property of the library after a certain time. And I had her reach out to her supervisor stuff and say, follow their rules and get that. And that way, if we find somebody there and it's posted, we don't have to call her or anybody else to say, hey, you know, you want them on the property or not, because it was pretty open. Now it's going to be, if once they get it posted, all right, it's posted, you need to move on. So,
Have we thought about the best things for the signs to say exactly to make it enforceable?
just basically what I gave her the idea was that no trespassing after a certain time. But I told her to make sure, check with her legal department of what they think would be good posting for it, and then bring it to the city.
What size will they be?
It would be similar to the size in the packet, those examples, so if
That's
you
in
walk
your
by,
packet.
they're not
Oh,
that
I'm
big,
sorry,
but they're very visible,
I went
so
through it,
they
like-
are
12 by 12-ish.
ish, yeah.
And that what do they call that little area there?
Pavilion,
The pavilion stuff?
amphitheater.
And the amphitheater, it's lighted at night, right? So it's easy for us when we're driving by to see maybe movement. A lot of times when I've directed my patrols to get out and go look to see, because people might see us coming and duck down because you can't see them, but it is lighted, right? And where these signages are and the pamphlets and stuff, it'll be well noticed. They can't say, well, I didn't see the sign. Well, yeah, you walk right past it. So,
I think you're wanting, I know it'll come again later on, but brighter lights in that sunken area in front of the library.
Some of the lighting has been recently upgraded
Good.
to LED lights. It's just, we're working on it.
Good,
Yeah.
good, thank you.
Questions?
Well, I was just going to say, I think it's important, you know, to support the library in this because just like with our city parks, face the same problems there. And I know we've been talking about putting some similar signs in our city parks. You know, this would just be to go along with that. And I don't know, maybe we'd want to make them say roughly the same thing. I don't know, whatever it is from dawn to dusk, or it probably depends on the time of year.
Right. It needs a little attention, but the only park right now that's posted is down in Coney Park, and it closes at 10 p.m.
Okay.
But that needs to be refreshed, but it is there. And when you drive straight in, it's posted up high. But yeah, most parks by ordinance, they're closed at 10 o'clock. You know, if somebody's walking through that angled area, like at the World War II park in the middle of the night, we're not gonna bother too much of it. But if they're using the park, that's when we tell them to move on. Parks are closed.
So Warner Brook and World War II Park need signage still?
Pardon me?
Do Warner Brook and World War II Park still need signage?
They need signage, they have none. And Coney's needs to be refreshed. So, but there's no signage on either of the parks.
Are you going to close that gate that goes into Coney Park?
We could do that to stop vehicle traffic,
At
yes.
least stop the vehicle.
Yeah. So that'll limit our patrol into it, but if it's posted, it gives us, you know, clear postage gives us just, you know, it's more teeth for us, that's what I'm saying. And it's another means to control the parks. But Tara and I talked, you know, at length and stuff like that, and I'm full support of, you know, having the library, and I strongly suggest having the library prohibit any use of the library grounds after a certain time. You know,
Very good.
Well, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the signage at the library.
I don't know that we're asking for a
Oh,
motion as much
sorry.
as just
I thought-
that we have the, but that we have consensus of the agenda, of the council. Yes,
Were you looking for a motion for a contract, Pat?
For tonight?
Yeah,
Contract just
but
not
says
normally
we
for-
need it in
No.
writing.
Oh,
No, they just need something in writing.
it's important.
So there won't be any expenditures involved from the city.
No, we would
Not
probably
this time.
make it through our marketing department to match our signage.
The permission pretty much is based on the fact that you are leasing the property from the city, so you're asking permission to do this.
Correct, it's in the contract.
All right.
just need consensus?
Just shaking your head.
Yeah.
What do you need to get the city parks posted?
Well, there's probably money in the budget if we need to order signs, that we can order the signs. If that's what you want us to do. I already wrote it down, so.
Yeah, I think we talked about that 2 or 3
Yeah.
weeks ago.
I definitely think it's needed.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
mean, do we need a motion to make sure that happens, or is that something that's just,
No, the last time where we left off is I went back and read the code, and then I informed you guys what the code says, that there is hours that can be set by city council and limited hours that can be set by staff if they're having issues. But I think it's better just to have a seasonal hour from, you know, spring to fall. This will be the operation hours of the park, and through the winter, this will be, and just post them both at the same time.
And then address the lighting and additional signing at the same time, or in addition.
Additional lighting at the parks.
Yeah.
I don't recall us.
I think
talking
when we get to it, we should address that.
Yeah, I think just placing them at the entry is not going to be enough. We're going to have to place them here and there throughout the park. Because people are just going to be complaining, they're not going to see it. You know, World War Park, I figure at least 5 to 6 signs just on that one to be enough to make sure that every entrance, somebody's physically can see those signs as they come in. Cody Park's going to be not as challenging because there's only really one way in and out of there, I guess. But
Kind of.
yeah, kind of official way. But we'll post some other signs around just to make sure that it can be seen.
Well, we can address that in our committee.
Yeah.
Somewhere down the road.
We can do it right now and get her done.
You have permission without any question.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah.
Appreciate you coming. The next item on the agenda is another presentation, and this is the Watershed Company presenting the Shoreline Master Plan update, and Alex Caprone is on the screen there, and he's going to give the presentation. It's quite extensive. So,
all right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Oh, no. Looks like that post doesn't save a little bit. Like you said.
And I gotta find it.
Oh yeah, no sweat.
Oh, yeah.
And I can also do a verbal presentation.
Well, that, I have to make some,
Are you trying to let him share his screen?
yeah,
Make him the host.
yeah, I was trying to find that. I need to make you the host.
It's in the middle.
There it is,
There.
thank you. Yes.
Recording stopped.
Okay. Thank you. Now it works now. Thank you.
Now it
All right,
will-
can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
All right,
Yep.
perfect. Well, thanks very much for having me attend tonight's council meeting. My name's Alex Capron, environmental planner with the Watershed Company. Talking to you tonight about the Shoreline Master Program periodic. Yeah, so goals for this meeting. So the SMP Shoreline Master Program has this periodic update is really taking a snapshot view of the SMP where we have the Shoreline Master Program comprehensive update that recently took place, and this latest periodic update, which I'll walk through here. So yeah, to start, what is the Shoreline Master Program? So this is based on a set of three policies, or three principles that help spell out the policies and regulations of the SMP. First off is environmental resource protection of state shorelines. Secondly, providing for and encouraging public access, use and enjoyment along the shoreline. And finally, giving priority use to those developments that require shoreline location. And then with all of this, the Shoreline Master Program still needs to protect critical areas, ensure a no-net loss of shoreline ecological function, and then encourage preferred uses along the shoreline environment. And so where does an SMP apply? So the SMP is similar to an overlay in addition to the City of Goldendale zone code, where you have a set of shoreline environment designations that are overlaid adjacent to, in the case of Goldendale, the Little Quick-Cat River. So this river exceeds the threshold for shoreline jurisdiction, which is 20 cubic feet per second mean annual flow. And then also shoreline jurisdiction can include lakes of 20 acres or larger and shorelines. And then where jurisdiction is delineated is upland 20 feet or 200 feet of ordinary high water, and includes any associated wetlands and floodplain. So that's the floodway and upland 200 feet landward of the 100-year flood. So there are certainly some layers of information that can be used to delineate the shoreline. That's typically the applicant's responsibility coming into play. And then so Shoreline Master Program periodic update is really taking a narrow look at the SMP. One, looking at any changes to state law that have occurred since the SMP was adopted in 2018. Also, any changes to the zoning code, comprehensive plan that may need a necessary change to the SMP, and then any new and improved data and information. So it's important to point out that this periodic update isn't going to go back and look at the ecological baseline that was used to develop the regulations as part of the comprehensive update. So this is not going to look at the no-net loss criteria for development applications that have been submitted since 2018. So there's no monitoring that will take place as part of this periodic update. So it's really key take home is this is not a major update. This is a light touch to the SMP. And it's ensuring that the rules are consistent with state law. And it is a state process. So the Department of Ecology is involved with this periodic update option. And I'll talk a little bit more about how the process will look at the city side. And so, the comprehensive update back in 2018 and leading up a year or two prior to that provided an array of documents. One was the Shoreline Inventory and Characterization Report. So this report actually developed that baseline of information in terms of shoreline resources within the city shoreline environment. Also developed the city shoreline policies and regulations. It was a massive update on that front, and the mapping of the environment designations. And then the three items 4, 5, and 6 there, the restoration plan. So those are restoration efforts that have occurred or are on the horizon yet to occur. And then cumulative impacts analysis. So that was evaluating the policies and regulations and making sure that those regulations include a no-net loss And so, yeah, the three elements of a periodic update, it starts with a public participation plan. So that's engaging stakeholders, making sure that they're aware of the process and moving forward. Yeah, and then in terms of, developing the amendments to the SMP, that is actually a periodic checklist. So there are 27 legislative amendments, or legislative law that have been established dating all the way back to 2007. So many of those are captured in the 2018 comprehensive update, but it's a check on all of those. And then preparing those amendments to go in front of City Council for their review as part of the local adoption phase. And what's unique about this periodic update process is it will be done jointly with the Department of Ecology. So the benefit of doing that is that by holding public hearing as well as the joint public comment period with the Department of Ecology is that they'll be able to make a review of the proposed edits to the SMP, and then we'll be able to respond to those recommended and required changes, and then bring that back before City Council for their final review and adoption. So it goes back to the local level by combining that state review process. And I kind of mentioned this a little bit. The periodic checklist is looking at the consistency with the state legislative amendments. Another point here is the critical area regulations. So this is an actual appendix of the SMP, and it's looking at the Ecology 2018 wetland buffer guidance. So I can speak a little bit more about that in future slides. And also looking at the comprehensive plan and municipal code, ensuring that the SMP is consistent with any changes that have occurred since 2018 and any other additional issues. So looking at the legislative amendments and completing a draft of the periodic checklist, not too many changes. The definition of development is one change where the development definition has a proposed revision where it does not include the dismantling of structures, so that would not be a form of development. And so if someone were to just take apart a structure and not do anything else, it wouldn't necessarily require a shoreline. A substantial, the cost threshold for a substantial development permit, so this is a shoreline substantial development permit, that cost threshold has increased at $8,500, and there's an option here to either have the SMP directly reference that cost threshold between a shoreline letter of exemption, which is a much more simple, straightforward process, and a shoreline substantial development permit, which is a bit more burdensome application. So that's state law, that's mandatory, that the SMP capture that. Also, the three non-conforming definitions, non-conforming uses, structures, and lots. So these are, the key here is that these are legal non-conforming uses, structures, and lots, but having those definitions amended to meet state recommendations. And then exceptions. So these are really rare projects that don't need to go through a permitting process. So these are essentially projects, whether they be environmental remediation applications that are administered by Department of Ecology and Environmental Excellence projects, also managed by Ecology, that they would not need to go through the city SMP permitting process at all, because they would be managed by Ecology. And so that would be something that would be as a legislative amendment that would be captured. And then, critical areas regulations. This is a separate dated appendix within the SMP, but there was some recent guidance from the Department of Ecology back in 2018 related to wetland buffers. And this guidance spelled out that lower functioning wetlands with a habitat score of 5 could actually have reduced buffers. This is part of ecology's guidance out statewide. So by adopting this amendment to the critical areas appendix to the SMP, this actually results in smaller buffers that applicants will have to adhere to for lower functioning. And then, yeah, we also did a review of the comprehensive plan and other development regulations that didn't see any necessary changes based on the review of these. And so with that, this is the timeline that we have to date. So tonight's meeting, production meeting, city council. So we move into November with the joint ecology and city public comment period. That's a 30-day public comment period. And ecology city public hearing about mid-November before Thanksgiving. And then in anticipation of responding to public comments and getting that off to the Department of Ecology in February of next year. So that would set up the city to adopt this periodic update in SMP in spring. And with that, I leave it with the staff contact here, Pat Murray, the city administrator, and any questions from city council or
Council, do you have questions or comments?
When will the documents be available for review?
I would say in the November, so that'd be the beginning of November, they would be posted on the city's website for review.
Any questions or comments from anyone else? Thank you, Alex, very much. I particularly appreciate the timeline. That's very handy
you
for
bet.
what's to come. That's a big help.
Of
Anything
course.
else?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, happy to have you. We'll see you in November.
Yep.
Okay, good.
So you'll need to change it back for me to be the host.
Okay, I am going to. I did set multiple participants can share simultaneously, or I can.
Yeah.
Does the button reclaim host work?
I got it back.
Thanks, Alex.
Recording in progress.
Thank you. Don't do that very much.
There.
Oh, yes, Roger.
Apologize for not waiting, but I have a really odd question. At the beginning, he said we have to do this every 8 years. Why are we doing it 4 years early?
Yeah, so Department of Ecology has their grant funding stream in such a manner that the grant dollars that help for this update are available now through June 30th, 2023.
Thank you.
So yeah, even though it is technically every 8 years, you can start the process. Yeah, so that's why the process is happening.
That's helpful. Thank you. Any other comments or questions before we move on? Next item is department reports, and we'll begin with Pat Munyon on Public Works.
So attached to your packet is a 2023 draft budget. It is a balanced budget there, but we still need to get a council workshop together to go through the budget. There are going to have to be some adjustments made after we reviewed it today. There's the money there to continue balancing it, but we are starting to come up to that point where we're getting into our cash carryover to balance the budget. So we need to be aware of our expenses in the future, or what we're doing, and when we make decisions on how we proceed forward with projects, and really take a look at the budget before we do that. Make sure it can handle those expenses without going into our cash carryover reserves. So if you guys, I was thinking maybe next Monday night, scheduling a workshop, if that works for everybody, for a council workshop.
That'd be great.
That'd be fine with me.
Columbus Day.
What
10th?
time do we want to do that? Sorry.
What time would work for you guys?
6. Whatever.
6 o'clock?
6 or 7.
6 would work, yeah.
6?
Okay.
6
That's good for
o'clock.
me.
We have it earlier.
As early as I can go. A lot of working.
Also, I laid out on your desk, so this is a schedule. If you'll see over here, you can see what department is, WS stands for Water Sewer Department, but anything that's Public Works Trust Fund is water, anything that's Department of Ecology is wastewater, but it's our debt schedule. And this is the debt the city is carrying. Some of that debt will come off, and we'll tell you the year of that debt, and some of this is out there. I think the longest one's out there, debt that will not be paid off till 2056.
It's too late to put it in the paper for that week, because that's Monday. Paper comes out
Okay,
Wednesday.
then we can just have to post it around town. We should be fine if we get it posted tomorrow. So if you guys want to review that, and bring that to the workshop so we can discuss that as well. And then just, I know you guys can't see this here, but so last year, this is a part list that the city needs, and giving the current, since COVID shut down and parts availability, most of this stuff is almost a page and a quarter of parts that the Public Works Department needs. And most of the stuff, 2 years ago, we could just, within 3 days, get off the shelf. The last time we ordered this, last year Doug ordered this stuff, it took 11 months to get all these parts. So if we don't place this order now, we're going to be in trouble, because we're going to run out of parts and need them. So we need to get it replaced. And the shocker was, a year and a half to 2 years ago, this list here cost the city just shy of $24,000. Today it's $50,000. Yep. That's just what the inflation's going up, cost, supply and demand's going up, and causing it to become extremely expensive to get materials right now. A 2-inch water valve a couple of years ago, we got bought off the shelf for $2 to $3, and they're asking $7 to $8 for it now. So just wanted to make you guys aware this is some of the challenges we got coming up that's going to impact the budget even more in the future. And we'll talk more about options in the budget workshop, how we can resolve some of that issue. Other than that, Fire Street, there again, that was supposed to tentatively start getting poured today. It has not. I do not have an answer why not. And the contractor can't give me an answer of what's going on. So they're still trying to find somebody to replace the subcontractor they had set aside to do this work. But they're can't find anybody. They're still looking. They're just gonna have to go farther because we need to get this done and done now. We are looking at and starting to track liquidated damages at this point against the contractor. He's 2 months over scheduled time. We would probably give him some leeway on some of those that time, but you know, I'm sorry that they're in that position, but it's their subcontractor. This is not no fault to the city. We're working on we've got some land use applications in that we're working on different levels that we're trying to finish up and get out. One is we're trying to complete the 18th Street. We've sent that back with comments for final review, and when those changes come back, that will come back to City Council. And there's a process where you'll have to go through and approve and accept the, because they're dedicating right away in this, and then they're also transferring ownership of infrastructure. We're waiting for lien release. I don't know if you guys have seen those before, what they are. But anytime somebody's giving us property, whether it's infrastructure property, real property, we make every purchase, the contractor has to take a lien release around to anywhere where he bought equipment or supplies and materials, and we make him go around and all the subcontractors and all those vendors have to sign off that they have been paid in full, so that when we take ownership of that they cannot lien it for unpaid bills. If that makes sense to you guys. I don't know if you guys have been through that process before, but we've had several minor public works requests, nothing major, but they do take staff's time to respond to them, and they do cost money, but a lot of that money is stuff we can't recover at this point. Their project is moving along fine. It's on schedule, and that should be done hopefully in the next month, and well, depending on when the tank is here, but and then we already did that one, and I need to talk to you about the Public Works Committee tomorrow. I gotta pick up my grandson after school, because my wife's not gonna be available, so we either need to have it really like around 1 o'clock tomorrow, or wait until Wednesday.
I can be there at 1.
Okay. Lauren, are you available at 1?
I don't know. I don't have my other phone.
Would Wednesday be better, afternoon better for you?
Actually, no, Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday at 1. That'll work.
Tuesday at 1?
Wednesday's more questionable.
Same here.
And I think I'm on that committee.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, 1 o'clock will be fine.
Okay, thank you. That's all there.
Thanks, Pat. Next will be the Goldendale Police Department, Chief Hunsaker.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have as much as he does. The new officer that started with our department, you all met the last time, he's due to start the Basic Law Enforcement Academy this coming Monday with a graduation date of February 22nd. The new police vehicle arrived last week into the Longview dealership, and all the police equipment's been installed. They're just waiting to finalize some day wireless programming in the car, and then we'll be able to go pick it up. And vacation was very nice. But as of today, right now, we're sitting at a caseload of 2,603 cases for the year. So I fully, if things don't slow down, I fully estimate that we will go over the 3,000 mark for the year. So Other than that, I have nothing else right there. Yes?
What are the historic numbers?
I can do a review on that from the past books. I looked at the 2021 and we were roughly, let me get that number for you real quick. You remember what that number was, Sandy?
2021 was 2980.
2980, so for 2021, that was total caseload for the year, so we're not far from it. And we still have October, November, and December to go through.
Crime is on the rise.
Crime, all kinds of things are on the rise. Yeah, crime is on the rise. We're getting a lot of disorderly calls, some mental health calls, but a lot of arguing. A lot of domestics coming down the place. We've had some burglaries. One of the cases is broken wide open and arrests are being made, property is being recovered. And some of that property includes firearms. So, yeah, it's just all over the board right now. But by the end of the year, I'll have an end of year report so we can break it down more for you at the top, what we have, crime and all that. So,
All right, thank
okay?
you. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Any other questions for the chief or comments? Now we'll hear from the Goldendale Fire Department, Steve Randall.
Fire department, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I can tell you that our calls are less this year at this time than last year. Probably by roughly 50 calls.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing. I will say that even though we are in the first part of October, we're still in wildland and fire season. We've had several, we haven't in the city, but we've been several mutual aid calls in the last couple of weeks for wildland firefighter. And so still be careful, burn ban is still in effect.
It goes into effect till October 15th or longer?
I think it's October 15th unless we extend it, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You do have to have a permit from the city and all that, for all that to burn.
District 7 is the same, or did it go to the 30th?
I can't answer for that.
Oh, okay, well, I was just curious, we're kind of all the same.
So we normally follow them
Yeah, right, okay.
best we can.
Best we can, that's right. That's all I have.
Thank you, Steve, very much. The next item is council business, and our city manager will present the proposed preliminary budget for 2023. This is the first step from your review and discussion. If you have questions now, we'll be having additional public hearings on this document and public comments, of course, as well. So,
I kind of did
with
that in
that,
the wrong order. So, I said I kind of did that in the wrong order, so sorry about that. Yeah, I should have waited, but I did it under staff report, but do you guys have any more questions concerning the budget? I think the best thing is we had to get a document out by October 1st, and that's here, but we need a workshop we had to get a draft out, we need a workshop to move forward with the budget. We have to have a public hearing in the first council meeting in November. And so we can have public comment, and then probably the second meeting, we'll move over towards the end of December to adopt the budget. So we need to get a workshop going and have some workshop meetings on how we want to proceed for next year.
And it's next Monday?
Next Monday.
Next Monday. And this is what we'll be addressing? This
We'll be
document?
working from that, yes. It's just a draft to work from, so everyone knows where we currently are and what we're looking at. And we may be making some adjustments and bringing in an updated one, and we'll go over those adjustments, why we did that in the next meeting.
any questions or comments this early stage. If you realize the discussion we had on the Shoreline master plan, we're in the real world now. Things are going up, and on this budget, you're going to see a number of impacts that are coming that will be even more aggravated by the end of the year. So we have to give it a very careful, good look. It's, so many things are changing, and Goldendale's caught up with all of that, it seems like. So nothing cheap anymore. With that, we'll go to report of officers, and we'll begin with Mylan Walling on the.
Oh, okay, well, thank you, Mayor. I guess I don't really have anything tonight. I think we got a lot of important meetings coming up, and again, like my comment from last time, is we're moving along, and we got a lot of good things going, and so I guess that's all I have tonight, Mayor.
Andy.
One thing I just thought about when Stephen was talking, probably it's time to clean up people's chimneys. If it's cooling down at night, might want to get those checked out. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Ellie, Casey. Nothing? Lauren?
Just a thank you to the PD for the work they're doing at the parks. I've noticed increased activity there, and just noticed Jay and some of his staff out there the last couple of weeks. So I appreciate that. I just want to make sure we get the signage up that I think some of your staff expressed a need for. So if there's any support that city staff need from the council for that, it'd be good to see that completed. And then additionally, we have some challenging projects around town and some challenging issues related to budget and ordinances coming up, and just want to compliment staff on how they handle things, and recognize that council members and staff are never going to be able to make everybody happy. So regardless, there's going to be some individuals that are unhappy with projects or decisions, but we have to make decisions for the good of the community and the public. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. So thanks for your work, Pat.
Thank you.
Dave.
Oh, thanks, Mayor. I just wanted to sum it up a little bit by saying that, we have really beautiful parks in this town. We have a beautiful library, beautiful public spaces, and, it's our responsibility to make sure that they stay that way. And this signage is a good step towards that, and we have to preserve those things. We have big problems with vandalism. I still think we need to be locking those restrooms up at night at the parks.
Yes.
To curb the vandalism there. I think that's going to be important. And it's a shame we have to do that, but we have to do what needs to be done to preserve what we have.
That's it.
You're aware they are being locked up.
Okay, they are, okay.
Yes.
I know we talked about it at the last meeting.
Yeah, all officers have keys.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's a shame we have to lock things up and
Well,
get surveillance and all that kind of stuff, but if that's what it takes to sort of make it
Yeah.
better for the community as a whole, then we have to get to swallow some of those hard pills.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Steve Johnson.
Just one thing tonight. I would like to throw something on the table here, just food for thought this time. It's not the first time it's been brought up for consideration over the years and years and years, so it's not me getting a wild idea here all of a sudden. And that is to consider mayor, council, staff, think about considering changing our meeting times.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier, not later. And again, we're back in the same situation you just mentioned about trying to please all the people all the time. We're not going to be able to. That's as simple as that. But again, this is not a new consideration. And
Sure.
like I say, I want to throw it on the table tonight and give everybody an opportunity to think about it for a while. And then later on down the road, we'll bring it up again.
We'll get it on the agenda,
And
go through the discussion and what
we'll kick it around. I mean, at this point in time, I would like to throw a time out there to consider. That would be 5:30. I mean, that's going to rock somebody's socks for sure, but it's a starting point. It's a starting point. It's all. That's all it is. So
When you first started talking, I thought you were gonna suggest we have drinks at these meetings.
This is food for thought.
Okay.
I'm surprised you weren't insisting on carbs.
You gotta wash it down.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to do that.
I think it's worthwhile.
And that's what that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And Mayor remarks, not all that much. We've noticed tonight there's big changes. People are on one side of the room or on the other side, even for safety reasons, which is a very positive way to do that. But this new sound system and camera system, that is going to require one person speaking at a time, both the public but also the council as best we can. So we'll be able to do it, but it's, and if you show up in a picture and if somebody else talking, point at them. So you're not blamed for what you disrupted. I want to draw your attention to public comment, because we've added something from our regulations or our ordinances, and this has to do with public comments shall adhere to the business on the agenda only. In the past, we've had other types of things come in, but this needs to be on what's on the agenda. That's what the public comments should focus on. If there's somebody has an issue, we're also going to be working to change the ordinance on the organizing the order of the meeting to get public comments almost at the very top. So that then, because so many times we've had meetings and had decisions taken, and there were people here for public comment that was after that, and it's always really uncomfortable for both us and them. So we'll be working on that and getting the ordinance changed. That's, and Sandy are all over this, so it really helps. And with that, is anyone here for public comments? That makes it easier. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn City Council for October 3rd, 2022. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And one other comment about one person at a talking at a time, it really makes it a lot easier for Sandy, or whoever's doing the minutes, to track the conversation so she can do minutes a lot
Recording.
quicker. And a lot more efficient.